In 2022, the United States crippled the Russian economy without firing a shot. By leveraging the digital architecture of the global financial system, Washington froze $300 billion in foreign reserves, making Moscow's own wealth inaccessible overnight. This instant leverage is a direct result of the dollar's role in international commerce. Today, the US dollar accounts for roughly 60% of all foreign exchange reserves held by the world's central banks. This dimes is anchored by a specific commodity. This visualization of energy markets shows that roughly 80% of all global oil transactions are settled exclusively in US dollars. This creates a mechanical requirement for almost every nation. To import the energy needed to fuel their transport and industry, countries must first accumulate US dollars to pay the bill. This dynamic grants the United States an exorbitant privilege. By sitting at the center of energy trade, America functions as a global financial toll booth with unparalleled influence over the world economy. The modern version of this system began in 1971. That year, President Richard Nixon decoupled the US dollar from the gold standard, ending the era where every dollar was backed by a physical weight of metal. The move risked a collapse in international demand for the currency. To maintain its status, the United States required a new global anchor that would force other nations to continue holding dollars. In 1974, a strategic alliance provided that anchor. Under an agreement brokered by officials like Henry Kissinger, Saudi Arabia agreed to sell its oil exclusively in US dollars in exchange for American military protection. This pact established the petrodollar system, a cycle that would eventually fund the American government through a process called petrodollar recycling. Step 1 is the accumulation of cash. As nations sell energy, they build massive surpluses of US dollars. Step 2 is reinvestment. To store wealth, these nations buy US Treasury bonds, lending their oil profits back to the American government. This loop allows the United States to run significant deficits and borrow money cheaply. By mandating the dollar for oil, the U.S. effectively uses foreign capital to sustain its own military and economic power. While the system offers massive economic benefits, it also provides a geopolitical weapon. Because the world trades in dollars, almost all international payments eventually clear through the U.S. financial jurisdiction. Banks execute these payments using SWIFT, a global messaging network that acts as the nervous system for international finance. Washington utilizes this clearing process to enforce secondary sanctions. If a foreign bank attempts to do business with a sanctioned country, like Iran, its connection to the global network is severed. The ultimate enforcement tool is total exclusion. Any institution that fails to comply with U.S. sanctions faces being completely cut off from the dollar-based system. For a global bank, this exclusion is terminal. Severing a bank's ability to transact in dollars ends its ability to participate in international trade, leading to a total institutional collapse. This absolute threat allows the United States to project its legal authority worldwide. By controlling the toll booth, Washington can dictate who is allowed to participate in the global economy. Frequent use of these sanctions has triggered a worldwide reaction. Targeted nations now view dependence on the dollar as a threat to their national security. The result is a global shift toward de-dollarization. Rival powers are currently building parallel financial architectures designed to operate entirely outside of American oversight. These networks are already active. Russia has established its SPFS messaging system, while China is scaling CIPS to clear international trades in yuan rather than dollars. Energy trade is following suit. BRICS nations are increasingly settling oil deals in local currencies, while many central banks are experimenting with digital currencies to facilitate direct peer-to-peer transfers. The petrodollar has served as the foundation of American power for 50 years. However, the aggressive weaponization of that system is forcing the world to build new roads, gradually eroding the toll booth that sits at the center of the global economy.